A question I get a lot is, will I recover? And your recovery really does depend on you. It doesn't depend on the situation that you're in. It doesn't depend on the type of thoughts you're having, the type of OCD you have. So, if you think that, okay, because I have OCD that has to do with a more scary topic, such as harm or something else, it's worse to recover. Whoever has OCD, to them, the topic that they are dealing with is the worst. So if harm OCD is the worst, like harm being the topic, the worst thing for you, for somebody else, religion would be worse, right? What if I, don't get into heaven and things like that? For them, that's worse. Do you know what I mean? So the level of anxiety at 10 out of 10 is the same across the board. It doesn't matter what the thoughts are. And this is kind of thinking that you have to get away from if you do want to recover. And obviously everybody does, right? That it doesn't matter what thought you're getting. It doesn't matter what kind of theme you have. It doesn't matter what kind of feelings go along with it. All that matters is your reaction. And if you're working 100% of the time on controlling that reaction and refusing attention and refusing to take it seriously, there's no way you will not recover. But if you are falling into reassurance continuously, checking, analyzing, going over the situation, basically every time you're doing that, you're training your mind that the situation is real, that the situation is valid, and that your mind really needs to send you more thoughts. So if you're doing that, there's no way you can recover. Because your mind, as long as you're telling your mind that the situation is real and dangerous, your mind is going to be sending you more thoughts as if the situation is real and dangerous. And you're stuck in that loophole, because your mind will only believe what you send it. Your mind has no idea if the situation is real or not. It's just sending you the thoughts based on the fact that you're telling it it's real, based on the fact that you're sending fear. You're receiving fear from the thought when it first hits you, but you're multiplying that fear by paying attention and going over it and just thinking of all the possibilities, So all of that's not working on your OCD. That's making yourself worse. And I really kind of want to be clear, and maybe it might come across as being a little bit harsh in this video, but it's very important for you to pick yourself up and start working on recovery, because if you don't, you're going to be sinking deeper and deeper into the thoughts, and analyzing more and more and more. So it's very important to say, no, I'm not dealing with this. This is my usual OCD theme. I'm done with it. And it doesn't matter if you had this thought for a day, a week, years, it doesn't matter. From now on, you're done with it. And you're not moving any further with, trying to figure it out. Because all it is what if. All it is reassurance. And it's like a rabbit hole, but you're going around and around in it. And it doesn't stop. And it won't stop until you stop it, So it's a choice. It's a powerful choice that you have to make, saying, I don't care that I have anxiety. I don't care that it feels real. I don't care that it's giving me all these feelings. I'm done with it. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not devoting any more of my life to this, And in case of, if you're having physical compulsions that you're doing, then adding that to that fact and saying, I'm not doing any more physical compulsions. I don't care what compulsion it is. I'm done with all of them, And not just saying that, but doing it throughout the day, practicing, doing the work. That's people who I see recover, and it's consistent because, as you guys know, I talk to people all the time, and it's a continuous flow of people. So people come to me, they're at 10 out of 10 anxiety, then they get better, then, the new people come and they're out of 10 out of 10 anxiety again, then they get better. So it's like a continuous flow of people. And what I see is every time the person starts working at it, 100% of the time they recover. But when somebody, for example, messages me and asks me, will I recover? I have no idea if you're going to work on it 100% of the time. I don't even know if you're going to work on it 5% of the time. Because I don't know your personality, I don't know what your life is like, I don't know if you're going to do the work. And that's what I always put in my emails when people are like asking me these questions. I'm like, are you going to do the work? Are you doing the work? Because you have to do the work in order to recover. It's not going to just happen. The only way the thought will go away on its own is if it switches to a different thought. That's what I see a lot. So for example, a person was, again, to give you like the same examples, right? That the person was worried about harm OCD, for example, right? And then they became very religious. Just in their life, nothing to do with OCD, they became very religious. So religion has become very important to them. And now they're starting to get thoughts that have to do more with religious OCD, because that's the most important, and that's what OCD switched to attacking. Or they had one type of harm OCD thought, and now it jumped to another situation, another harm OCD thought. So that's not recovery. That's just your brain getting tired of one thing and moving to the next. Or your brain is finding something that's even more important to you and sending you that thought. So, but when you see progress is what is your anxiety today? Like for you specifically. Is it 10 out of 10, 10 being the worst possible thing? 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I would say having an anxiety of 1 out of 10 is pretty much normal. That's not, I wouldn't classify it as OCD even. Like most people are a little bit anxious throughout their lives, I think if you have 0 out of 10 anxiety continuously, it's like, that's a little bit weird as well. Anxiety is a natural part of life, but 10 out of 10 anxiety is definitely not normal, right? So, definitely not healthy in terms of, obviously how you're feeling. So if your anxiety is 10 out of 10 for, say, 5 days, you've been working hard on it, now you're seeing it go to 9, 8, good, that's progress. Then 7, 6, there's going to be fluctuations day to day, but generally speaking, your anxiety is going down. It doesn't matter how many thoughts you're having during it, doesn't matter the feelings, all this stuff. Is your anxiety going up or is your anxiety going down? If it's going up, you're doing the wrong thing. If it's going down, then you're doing the right thing. That's your kind of anxiety thermometer. That's how you can tell if you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Because sometimes people are like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, all of this stuff. That's how you know. Is your anxiety going up? Well, you're not doing the right thing, So it's being very clear with every day, okay, right now your priority, and if you're having 10 out of 10 anxiety, believe me, your priority is getting over OCD. It's not your job, it's not anything else in your life, it's getting over OCD. Because at 10 out of 10 anxiety, you can't function well. And if you can't function well, all that other stuff is going to fall away anyways. It's not going to be done to the level that you want it to be done. So focus on OCD recovery first. The good thing is that OCD recovery doesn't actually take any extra time out of your day. All you have to do is whenever you get a thought, you talk yourself away from it. So I'm not reacting. This is my thought. I'm moving on. And then you do move on to the rest of your life, right? So you are showing your mind that this is not important. The rest of my life is important. But having that catch is necessary, because if you don't have that catch, then you're just falling into the thoughts and into the reassurance and trying to solve it, or trying to do compulsions, or depending on the thought that you're having, right? So it's very important to work at it, and that's kind of what I wanted to come across. The message that I wanted to come across in this video is that your recovery will happen, and it is one of those things that is pretty much for sure will happen, but it will not happen unless you do the work. Do you know what I mean? So as long as you do the work, your recovery will happen. If you don't do the work, it won't, So it's starting every kind of day like that right now my biggest purpose is to recover from OCD. And that's, out of all the clients that I had, the people who recover the fastest are the ones who have this mindset that they wake up, they have a purpose of recovery, and they're going through their day really like paying utmost attention to their recovery. Yes, they're living their lives, they're doing their things, But as soon as an OCD thought hits them, they drop all of this stuff and they're really focused on making sure that they're not sending the wrong signals to the brain, you know? And those people recover the fastest. You know, people who do it sometimes, you know, that's like your effort of actually, you know, doing the right things effort. Because sometimes people are like, well, I'm putting effort towards it. Well, how are you putting effort towards it? By suffering? That's not effort, you know? I mean, and you know, I've been there. I've done the wrong thing for many years. So I know exactly what it's like to have OCD, feel like you're doing the right thing, but actually you're doing the wrong thing. So um, suffering does not mean that you're in the process of recovery, and it doesn't mean that you're working at your OCD. You know, it does feel bad, and it does feel like it's taking away from your life, kind of like work, in a way, right? But you're not actually working on it. You're not actually improving your situation, you know? So as long as you work on it, it's a race against yourself, you know? The more you work on it, the faster you recover. The less you work on it, the slower you recover. If you don't work on it at all, you're not even going forward in the race. If you're doing reassurance, you're actually going backwards, making yourself worse. It's very, with OCD, everything is very simplistic, I find, and everything is very logical in how OCD operates. And once you know that, and that's what I feel like, you know, in the mainstream medicine, that's the part that they're lacking majorly in terms of helping people recover from OCD. They're not telling people what is happening, you know, these OCD patterns that everybody experiences no matter what kind of theme that they're having. And once you know these patterns, it becomes that there's no more question of why am I having this thought? You know, you know why you're having it. You know why it's this particular thought and not, say, why it's harm and not cleaning, you know, and you understand why you feel worse today, because maybe yesterday was stressful. Maybe yesterday you were doing reassurance. Maybe it was stressful and then you started to do reassurance. Today you're going to feel worse because you did reassurance. You showed your mind that you were afraid. So understanding these patterns takes the guesswork out of it, takes the what if to a big extent out of it. So then you start to understand that, okay, this is what happened, this is how I got worse, this is why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling today. Tomorrow, I can either continue to feel the same if I continue to do the same as I did yesterday, today, or I can get better. You know, and continue on like that. And that is the way to recover. That is the key to recovery, you know. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you guys have any questions, always leave the comment below. If you want a comment in private, you can email me to info@youhaveocd.com. If you visit youhaveocd.com, there's a recovery program there that's one-on-one with me. There's ebooks, there is free information. Please check all that out. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. And I'll see you on Wednesday for the OCD Live Q&A. So if you want me to address any questions for the Q&A, please let me know in the comments below. Usually I pretty much address all the comments on the channel here because they're public anyway, but if you want to comment in private, you can also do so. Just guys, keep in mind that I'm getting a lot of emails, so it's very hard for me to reply to all the emails right away. So just to let you know, if there's a delay in emails, don't think it's anything personal. I just didn't get to it yet. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on Wednesday.